Hey guys, welcome back to Cyber Platter. This is the first video in the series of SOC interview question and answers. There'll be more videos. I will tag them in the description box. And if you want to know other topics for interview preparation like vulnerability management or scenario based questions, EDR, SIM, those will also be linked in the description box. There's a playlist which you can go through. So the first question is, what is Security Operations Center? That is, SOC stands for Security Operations Center. What is SOC and its primary functions? So a SOC is a centralized team within an organization that is responsible for monitoring, detecting, responding to, and mitigating cybersecurity threats and incidents. Its primary function is to enhance the overall security posture of the organization by actively monitoring the organization's IT, that is, information technology, infrastructure, networks, systems, and applications for signs of malicious activity or security breaches. Let's see some of the key functions and responsibilities of a SOC. First one is monitoring. That is continuous monitoring of network traffic, system logs, and security events in real time to identify potential security incidents. Next is incident detection. This is to detect and identify security incidents, anomalies, or suspicious activities through the analysis of security alerts and logs generated by various security tools and systems. Next key functionality of SOC is alert triage. This is to prioritize and classify security alerts to determine their severity and potential impact on the organization. Next is threat hunting. So SOC proactively searches for signs of malicious activity and potential threats within the organization's network and systems. This is often done using threat intelligence and advanced analytics. Next is incident response. SOC is responsible for initiating incident response procedures to investigate and contain security incidents when they occur. This is with the goal of minimizing damage and preventing further compromise. Next one is forensics analysis. SOC is responsible for conducting digital forensics analysis to understand the scope, impact, and root cause of security incidents. Next is vulnerability management. It is also responsible for managing and assessing vulnerabilities within the organization's systems and applications and coordinating remediation efforts. Next key functionality of SOC is security tool management. That is, it maintains and optimizes security tools and technologies. This can include firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems such as IDS and IPS, antivirus software, and SIM systems. SIM stands for Security Information and Event Management. Then there is threat intelligence. Leveraging threat intelligence feeds and information to stay informed about emerging threats and trends is also a key responsibility of SOC. Next one is reporting and communication. That is, SOC is responsible for providing regular reports to stakeholders, even including the senior management, on the state of cybersecurity within the organization. Next key responsibility is policy enforcement. That is to enforce security policies, procedures, and best practices across the organization. Next is training and awareness. SOC is responsible for promoting security awareness and conducting training programs for employees to reduce security risks. So, in summary, SOC plays a vital role in defending an organization's digital assets and data against cyber threats, ensuring the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of its information systems. It acts as a central hub for monitoring, responding to, and mitigating security incidents to protect the organization's sensitive information and maintain business continuity. Let's move on to the next question now. The next question is, what is MITRE attack and how is it used in SOC operations? So MITRE attack is a framework that stands for adversarial tactics, techniques, and common knowledge. MITRE attack is a comprehensive knowledge base and framework that documents, TTPs. TTP stands for Tactics, Techniques, and Procedures. These TTPs are used by cyber adversaries during various stages of a cyber attack. It provides a structured and standardized way to understand and categorize the behaviors and actions of threat actors. So now let's see what are tactics, techniques, and procedures. Tactics are high-level objectives or goals that threat actors aim to achieve during a cyber attack. These are organized into categories such as initial access, execution, persistence, privilege escalation, defense evasion, credential access, discovery, lateral movement, collection, exfiltration, and impact. Next is techniques. These are specific methods that threat actors employ to accomplish the tactics. Each technique is associated with one or more tactics and is described in detail, including how it works, potential detection methods, and recommended mitigation. Next is procedures. These are real world examples or instances of threat actor behavior that illustrate the use of techniques in specific cyber attacks. Procedures provide context and real world applicability to the framework. So if you search for MITRE attack in your browser and if you go to the first link, which is attack.mitre.org, it gives you the details and you can see all of them here. So you see this here, the tactics that we mentioned before are here, that is exfiltration, impact, collection, lateral movement. Under that we have the techniques, and if you can go into techniques like suppose say account discovery, in discovery if you click on this, it will tell you the procedure examples. Those are the real-time examples or real-world examples or instances. Okay, so I link this website in the description box if you want to go through it. Next, let's see how this MITRE attack framework is valuable for SOC. First one is threat detection. SOC analysts can use the framework to enhance threat detection capabilities by understanding the tactics and techniques commonly used by threat actors. They can create and fine-tune detection rules, alerts, and use cases in their security tools, like for example SIM, based on the MITRE attack framework. This can make it more likely to identify malicious activities. Next is MITRE attack can help in incident response. During incident response, SOC teams can reference the MITRE attack framework to better understand the adversary's behavior, tactics, and techniques. This information helps them investigate and respond effectively to security incidents, potentially stopping or mitigating ongoing attacks more quickly. Next, MITRE attack can help with threat intelligence. SOC analysts can use the framework to contextualize threat intelligence information. By mapping threat intelligence to specific attack techniques and tactics, they can better understand the relevance and potential impact of threat actor activities on their organization. Next is red and purple teaming. Security teams can use the MITRE attack framework to simulate and test their organization's security defenses through red teaming exercises. Purple teaming, which combines elements of both red and blue teams, also leverages the framework to assess and improve security controls and incident response procedures. Next one is it can help in security awareness and training. The framework can be used for security awareness and training programs within an organization. It helps educate employees and security professionals about the tactics, techniques threat actors use, enabling them to recognize and respond to potential threats more effectively. Next, it can help with risk assessment. SOC teams can use the framework to assess their organization's risk posture by evaluating which attack techniques threats are more relevant or likely to be exploited. This assessment can inform security priorities and resource allocation. So overall, the MITRE attack framework serves as a valuable resource for SOC operations by providing a common language and taxonomy for understanding and countering cyber threats. It assists security professionals in improving threat detection, incident response, and overall cybersecurity posture. Let's go to the next question now. How to identify and respond to DDoS attacks. DDoS stands for Distributed Denial of Service. So first, let's understand what is DDoS. It is a type of cyber attack where multiple compromised computers, so let's say these are the compromised computers, these are used to flood a target system. This is a target system or a network. So these compromised computers are used to flood the target system or network with a massive volume of traffic. This massive volume of traffic overwhelms the target system or network, causing it to become slow, unresponsive, or completely unavailable to legitimate users. The goal of a DDoS attack is to disrupt the normal functioning of a website, service, or network, often resulting in financial losses, reputational damage, and inconvenience to users. Because of this, identifying and responding to a DDoS attack is crucial for maintaining the availability and integrity of your organization's online services. So now let's see how to identify and respond to a DDoS attack step by step. First one is monitor network traffic. That is, use network monitoring tools and the IDS, that is intrusion detection systems, to continuously monitor incoming traffic patterns. Also establish a baseline of normal traffic to your network so anomalies can be detected more easily. Next one is to recognize DDoS attack symptoms. That can be sudden and significant increase in traffic volume, slowdown or unresponsiveness of your website or online services, unexpected error messages or downtime, or look for traffic spikes from unusual sources or with specific patterns. Next is to verify traffic sources. Next step in identifying DDoS attack is to verify traffic sources. So you need to identify the source IPs that are responsible for the increased traffic. DDoS traffic often comes from multiple compromised devices. Those are also known as botnets. Next is to look for patterns in traffic sources such as high number of requests from a particular geographic location or IP range. Next step is to implement rate limiting and filtering. That is, if you identified suspicious traffic patterns, implement rate limiting or filtering rules on your network devices or firewall to reduce the impact of the attack. You can use an intrusion prevention system or web application firewall to filter out malicious traffic. So rate limiting places a cap or threshold on the number of requests or packets that can be processed within a specific time frame. The primary purpose of rate limiting is to prevent excessive or malicious traffic from consuming all available resources and causing service degradation or disruption. Filtering involves the selective blocking or allowing specific types of traffic based on predefined criteria. The goal is to ensure that only desired or safe traffic is allowed to pass through while blocking or dropping malicious or unwanted traffic. Okay, now let's go to the next step, that is scale resources. In some cases, you may need to scale up your resources, such as adding additional server capacity or network bandwidth to handle the increased traffic. Next, you can contact your ISP. ISP is your internet service provider. So usually if the attack is severe, right, you contact your ISP and inform them about the attack. They may be able to implement network level filtering filtering or traffic diversion to help mitigate the attack. Next one is to maintain communication. You need to keep your stakeholders, including customers and internal teams, informed about the ongoing attack and any mitigations in progress. You need to have a communication plan in place for sharing updates on service availability and recovery efforts. Next is to analyze attack traffic. So capture and analyze attack traffic to understand its characteristics. This information can help you fine-tune your defenses and identify the attack's origin. Next one is to preserve evidence. So you need to preserve log files, network captures, and any other relevant data for later forensic analysis or potential legal action. So depending on the severity and impact of the DDoS attack, you may want to consider legal action against the attackers, especially if their identity can be determined. The last and the final step, which is more important, is to learn and improve. So you conduct a post-attack review to understand what worked and what could be improved in your DDoS response strategy. You also need to update your incident response plan and DDoS mitigation techniques based on the lessons learned. So remember that DDoS attacks can vary in size and complexity, and attackers can continuously evolve their tactics. Having robust monitoring, traffic filtering, and mitigation strategies in place can help minimize the impact of DDoS attacks and keep your online services available to legitimate users. The next question is, how do you prioritize security incidents? Prioritizing security incidents in a SOC is a crucial step in effectively managing and responding to cybersecurity threats. SOC analysts use various criteria and methodologies to assess the severity and importance of security incidents. Some of the steps and considerations for prioritizing security incidents in a SOC will be discussed now. First is establish incident classification. That is, create a classification system for security incidents based on their impact, urgency, and relevance to the organization. Common classifications may include critical, high, medium, and low. Next is define incident prioritization criteria. That is, develop a clear and documented criteria for prioritizing incidents. Factors like impact, urgency, relevance, context, regulatory, and legal requirements are considered here. So for impact, consider the potential impact on the organization's assets, data, and operations. Incidents that pose higher risk or can result in significant financial or reputational damage should be prioritized. Next is urgency. Here you assess how quickly the incident needs to be addressed. Incidents that require immediate attention due to ongoing exploitation or severe consequences should receive higher priority. Next is relevance. Evaluate the relevance of the incident to the organization's assets and business processes. Incidents that directly affect critical systems or data should be given priority. Next is context. Consider the context of the incident, including whether it is part of a larger attack campaign or if it aligns with known threat actor tactics. Next is regulatory and legal requirements. Take into account legal and regulatory requirements that mandate the response to specific types of incidents such as data breaches. Once you establish incident classification and then define the incident prioritization criteria, the next step is to use a threat intelligence feed. Incorporate threat intelligence feeds and indicators of compromise, that is IOCs, to help assess the severity and significance of incidents. So match the indicators that you see in the incidents against known threat data to understand the potential threat actor and impact. Next is you can also collaborate with stakeholders, other stakeholders, that is, communicate with stakeholders within the organization, including IT teams, legal, compliance, and senior management, to gather additional context and input on incident prioritization. Next is continuous monitoring. Continuously monitor the evolving threat landscape and adapt your incident prioritization criteria accordingly. Threat intelligence and trends can change, affecting incident prioritization. Then there is also something called as RTOs. It stands for response time objectives. That is, define RTOs for different incident priority levels. This helps ensure that incidents are addressed within appropriate time frames based on their severity. That is, incident that is marked as critical or high should be resolved under 90 minutes, or if it is low, it should be resolved under 24 hours, something like that. Okay, that is RTOs. So by following these steps and considering various factors, a SOC can effectively prioritize security incidents, allocate resources efficiently, and respond promptly to the most critical threats, reducing the organization's overall security risk. Let's move on to the next question. What is the difference between an incident and an event in the context of security monitoring? First, let's talk about an event. An event is a basic occurrence or observable that is happening within a computer system, network, or application. Events can include a wide range of activities and data points, including log entries, alerts, notifications, and system generated records. Events may or may not be indicative of a security issue. Examples of an event include user logins and logout, file or data access events, system reboots or restarts, firewall rule violations, application crashes or errors, network traffic flow records, and so on. Events are typically generated by various IT and security systems such as operating systems, firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, antivirus software, and more. Not all events are security related, but they provide the raw data that security analysts use to monitor and investigate potential security incidents. Okay. But an incident, on the other hand, is a specific incident, event, or series of related events that represent a security threat, breach, or violation of security policies. Incidents are events that have been analyzed and determined to require further investigation or response due to their potential impact on the organization's security. Some of the key characteristics of security incidents include that they involve unauthorized or malicious activities. They pose a risk to the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data or systems. They may require immediate attention or a formal response from the organization's security team. So, the examples of security incidents are a successful malware infection or on a workstation. It can be an unauthorized access to sensitive files or systems, suspicious network traffic patterns indicative of a potential attack, detection of a data breach where sensitive information may be compromised, and the examples go on. Okay, so in summary, events are raw data points that can be harmless or security related, but incidents are specific security related events that have been analyzed, identified, and require action or investigation. The process of monitoring and analyzing events is essential for identifying potential incidents, allowing security teams to respond promptly and effectively to mitigate security threats and protect the organization's assets. Let's go to the next question now. Explain the concept of a kill chain in the context of cyber attacks. The concept of kill chain is a framework. Kill chain is used to describe various stages or steps that a cyber adversary goes through to successfully launch and execute an attack. It provides a structured view of the attack lifecycle, that is, from the initial reconnaissance phase to achieving the attacker's ultimate objective. The kill chain model helps organizations and security professionals understand, detect, and disrupt cyber attacks more effectively. Actually, the concept of kill chain originated from the military. military. Now it is adapted for cybersecurity as well. A typical cyber kill chain consists of several stages. Let's see what are those. First one is reconnaissance. In this initial phase, the attacker gathers information about the target, which may include identifying potential vulnerabilities, network infrastructure, and personnel. Reconnaissance can be passive or active. Passive includes collecting publicly available information, and active reconnaissance includes scanning the target systems. Next is weaponization. At this stage, the attacker creates or acquires a malicious tool or weapon, such as a malware or an exploit, that can be used to compromise the targets. The tool or weapon is often designed to take advantage of specific vulnerabilities discovered during reconnaissance. Next step is delivery. The attacker delivers the weapon to the target system. This can happen through various means such as phishing emails, drive-by downloads, malicious attachments, or infected websites. The next step is exploitation. Once the weapon is delivered and executed on the target system, it exploits vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access or control. Successful exploitation allows the attacker to establish a foothold within the target environment. The next step is installation. After gaining initial access, the attacker may install additional malware, backdoors, or persistent mechanisms. This is to maintain control over the compromised system and ensure access even after system reboots or updates. Next step is command and control. The attacker establishes communication channels with the compromised system. These channels allow the attacker to remotely control the compromised system, send commands, and exfiltrate data. Next is actions on objectives. This is the final stage of the kill chain where the attacker achieves their ultimate goals, which can vary widely depending on the nature of the attack. Objectives may include data theft, data destruction, ransom demands, or other malicious activities. So, why understanding a kill chain model is important for cybersecurity professionals, right? Let's see some of the reasons why it is important. First is to predict and identify potential threats and vulnerabilities at each stage. Next is to implement proactive security measures to disrupt or prevent attacks at early stages. Next is to detect and respond to attacks in progress, ideally before they reach the actions on objectives phase, that is the final phase. Next is to collect valuable threat intelligence to improve overall security posture. By breaking down cyber attacks into discrete stages, organizations can develop more effective strategies for prevention, detection, and response, ultimately reducing their exposure to cyber threats and minimizing the potential impact of successful attacks. Let's go to the next question now. Describe the security implications of fileless malware and how to detect it. Fileless malware represents a sophisticated and evasive type of malicious software that operates without leaving traditional file-based traces. I mean these traces on the victim's computer. Instead of relying on executable files or scripts saved on disk, fileless malware resides in memory and leverages trusted system processes and tools to carry out its malicious activities. This unique approach presents several security implications and challenges for detection and mitigation. Let's see the security implications of fileless malware. First one is stealthiness. That is, fileless malware is highly stealthy because it doesn't write files to the disk. This makes it harder to detect using traditional signature-based antivirus solutions. Next one is persistence. Many fileless malware strains are designed to achieve persistence by injecting malicious code into legitimate system processes, ensuring that the malware survives system reboots. Next one is evasion. Fileless malware often evades traditional security mechanisms such as application whitelisting and endpoint protection because it doesn't rely on traditional executable files. Next is difficult attribution. Detecting and attributing fileless attacks can be challenging because they use trusted processes and tools, making it appear as though legitimate actions are taking place. Now let's see how to detect fileless malware. Detecting fileless malware requires a combination of proactive security practices, monitoring, and the use of specialized tools designed to identify the indicators of such attacks. Let's see some of the strategies here. First is EDR solutions. EDR solutions are designed to monitor and analyze activities on endpoints, including memory and process behavior. They can identify suspicious memory injections and other fileless malware indicators. Next is behavioral analysis. Implement behavioral analysis techniques to monitor for abnormal system behavior, such as unexpected process injections, registry modifications, or unusual API calls. Next is memory analysis. Use memory forensics tools to analyze the content of system memory for signs of malicious activity such as suspicious process memory regions. Next is anomaly detection. Employ anomaly detection systems that can identify deviations from normal system behavior, which might indicate fileless malware activities. Next is UEBA, that is User and Entity Behavior Analytics. UEBA tools monitor user and entity behavior to detect unusual actions or account compromises that may be associated with fileless attacks. Next is network monitoring. Monitor network traffic for signs of command and control, that is C2 communication or data exfiltration, which can be used to identify fileless malware activities. Next is user training and awareness. Educate users about the risks of social engineering tactics, often used to deliver fileless malware, that is, using phishing emails, and how to recognize suspicious behavior. Next is use a SIM solution, that is security information and event management solution. So you can use SIM systems to correlate and analyze logs and events from various sources for signs of suspicious activity, especially in memory and processes. Next is leveraging a threat intelligence feed. These feeds can help you stay updated on known fileless malware threats and indicators of compromise, that is IOCs. So detecting and mitigating fileless malware requires a holistic approach that combines advanced detection technologies, ongoing monitoring, and a well-informed security team. As fileless attacks continue to evolve, organizations need to adapt their security strategies to effectively combat this evolving threat landscape. Let's go to the next question. Can you provide examples of zero-day vulnerabilities and their impact on cybersecurity? Zero-day vulnerabilities or software vulnerabilities that are unknown to the software vendor or the public. They are called zero-day because there are 0 days of protection against these vulnerabilities when they are discovered. Criminals and threat actors often target zero-day vulnerabilities because they can exploit them before security patches or updates are available. This makes them highly valuable and dangerous. Let's see some of the notable zero-day vulnerabilities and their impact on cybersecurity. First one that we'll see is Stuxnet. This was in 2010. The target here was Siemens Industrial Control Systems. Stuxnet exploited multiple zero-day vulnerabilities to target and disrupt Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities. It is considered one of the most sophisticated and damaging cyber attacks in history, causing physical damage to the centrifuges used in the uranium enrichment process. Next one is WannaCry. This was in 2017. The target was Microsoft Windows operating systems. WannaCry ransomware leveraged a zero-day vulnerability called Eternal Blue, which had been stolen from the NSA. The attack quickly spread across the globe, infecting hundreds of thousands of computers and causing widespread disruption in various organizations, including the National Health Service, that is NHS, in the UK. Next one is Print Nightmare. This was in 2021. The target was Microsoft Windows Print Spooler Service. The Print Nightmare vulnerability allowed attackers to exploit arbitrary code with system level privileges, potentially leading to full system compromise. Microsoft initially issued a patch for a related vulnerability but later realized that the patch was ineffective, highlighting the challenges in addressing zero-day vulnerabilities. Next one is Lockshell. This was in 2021 and the target was Apache Log4j. Log4j is a widely used Java-based logging library. So Log4Shell allowed remote code execution and its exploitation had a widespread impact because the affected library was used in numerous applications and systems. It required rapid patching and mitigation efforts across the industry. So these are some of the examples. Zero-day vulnerabilities pose significant threats to cybersecurity because they can be exploited before organizations have a chance to implement security measures or apply patches. To mitigate risk associated with 0 days, organizations should have proactive security practices such as vulnerability management, threat intelligence monitoring, and rapid response capabilities. Additionally, responsible disclosure practices help ensure that vendors are informed of vulnerabilities and can develop patches to protect users. So that's it for today, guys. I will see you in the next video with part 2, that is we'll have more questions on SOC. If you like today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share our videos. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.